Hello there. Welcome yet to another episode of the Upfront podcast. As usual, before we get things rolling, remember you can reach us right here on CH Studios at Almont Park, based on Church Road in Westlands. For all your videography and photography needs, the number to call is 0722 111 885. 0722 111 885 is the number to call if you want those needs taken care of. Now, barely just a week after the opposition was attacked in church in some region in the Mount Kenya region, they went back charging again just this previous weekend, and they set foot in Murang'a County in a show of unity and solidarity. As we continue assessing this situation, the question that we ask is the mountain truly done with President William Ruto? Joining me on today's episode is Honorable Gabriel Kagombe, who's the Member of Parliament for Gatundu South. Gabriel, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for making time for us. Let's get to it. But before we get into the intricacies, let's assess it from the point where we look at Mount Kenya as one of, if not the most important voting bloc when it comes to Kenyan general elections. Would you say that the mountain is done with William Ruto?
The mountain, thank you very much, Allan, and I'm glad to be at CH Studios today. And I first of all want to say hi to our viewers out there on all the social media platforms and everywhere where we broadcast, even terrestrially. And especially to the people from Gatundu South and generally Kiambu and all the people from the country who are watching us. Mm-hmm. One thing I would say, and the mountain is a very important voting bloc, mm-hmm. as you say. And why it is important is because the mountain votes together.
Yeah.
That's why it's important. Why the mountain is more important than, attracts very serious political suitors is because it votes as a bloc. Unlike many other areas where regions will have their own separations, the mountain has a tendency of voting as a bloc. The mountain is not done with William Ruto. Mm-hmm. Actually, there was some, politics has its motions. And in 2024, we had some motions that happened before or around the time that Rigathi Gachagua was kicked out. And of course, there was some little uncertainty. And these political uncertainties happen very often. Political uncertainties happened in 2007, happened in 2013. People did not even know, after the inauguration of the new constitution, people did not know whether you want to be governor or senator or, there was a lot of uncertainty. People didn't know where to move. But it only lasts, it's a very transient moment that really gets to fade away and people move on with life. I mean, the true measure of political popularity is a vote. And the recent by-election, especially in Mbeere North, showed you candidly, categorically, in no uncertain terms, that William Ruto and his party UDA are still popular in the mountain. Everybody may want to say ABCD, whatever excuse you may want to give. The fact is that election was won by UDA. Omodende was a UDA candidate, and he won the elections. That is the only true measure. The one that we can say is empirical and can be verified. That is the only true measure. And that measure tells you that the person who claims to have pulled away the mountain from William Ruto, who is Rigathi Gachagua, is not as popular as he thought. And this is what it tells you. Can you imagine that the person who claims to have pulled the mountain away from William Ruto did not have the guts to field a candidate on his party?
Well, Gabriel, just before we went on air to shoot this, we were speaking about familiarity. And you've said DCP wasn't able to clinch that seat in Mbeere. Let's flip the coin and put it into context of familiarity. DCP is a new party. People are still not familiar with it. What are the chances that come 2027, people will be familiar with the party, and you wouldn't say that UDA is as popular as it is right now?
I'll bring you back to, first of all, I want to set your mindset, to correct your mindset. This is Kenya. This is not America.
Okay.
People do not need to be familiar with parties. And that is why we have candidates currently in parliament that I will tell you, without mentioning names, but there are so many, including some including here in Kiambu. People who went to this party and 3 months to elections moved to another party. Because unlike other parties, and unlike other places like South Africa and America and the UK, where people affiliate themselves to the party, Kenya has a different way of affiliating ourselves with individuals. William Ruto, let me take you back. In 1992, Raila Odinga vied on a Ford ticket to be member of parliament for Kibera. In 1997, he was on a Ford Kenya ticket. In 2002, he was in NAC. In 2007, he was in Chungwa, ODM.
Yeah.
And now he proceeded with ODM vote from that point.
Yeah.
Kibaki was elected in 2002 on a NAC ticket. In 2007, just 5 years, he vied on a PNU ticket.
Yeah.
Uhuru vied in 2002 on a KANU ticket. In 2007, he vied on a PNU ticket to be a member of parliament for Gatundu South. In 2013, he vied on a Jubilee on a TNA ticket.
Yeah.
In 2017, he vied on a Jubilee ticket. William Ruto vied on a what was this party called? The green one. It was not PNU. It was
It was
UDM.
UDM. Is it UDM or UDP?
URP.
URP. Yeah.
URP.
Yeah.
Waititu, at that time, before the coming of TNA, Waititu was elected on that party and had a different name.
Okay.
When he was vying in Kabete. So familiarity of a party doesn't matter. In fact, I tell you, the more novel a party is, the better it is. When a person is familiar and they feel like something is dwindling, they move to a new party. They rebrand themselves with a new party. That is exactly what Rigathi Gachagua was trying to do. He moved from UDA and now said, I have another party called DCP.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was a stillbirth. He didn't bring it with the oomph that was required. At that time, the time when he was vying, when there was a by-election in Mbeere North, was the best time to bring DCP. It was a novel party. It had no uchafu. It was clean. It was neat. And the familiar face, the face that should have been known, was him.
So he did it too.
That is our Kenyan politics. You know, it is good, Allan, to accept who we are.
So he did it too early.
No. He failed to do it when it was time to popularize his party. Okay. By the way, when Kawanjiku was elected on a UDA party, it was barely 4 months. When he was elected in Kiamba, everybody, including the owner of the party at that time, was in Jubilee, but they had formed a party called UDA that did not even know exactly, had not been properly declared, but it brought a candidate. It brought a member of parliament for Kiamba. So what I'm saying is that the person who needs to have a familiar face, who has failed to do that and to use it, is Gachagua, not his party. He would have come with the same party if he were popular and would have been able to pull the rug below President William Ruto's feet and UDA. He didn't. He failed terribly. And that is going to repeat itself in 2027.
Okay, let's talk about perception. And we know very well that often or not, perception in politics informs reality. Just a few weeks ago, I believe 2 to 3 weeks ago, the president was in Nyeri for a program, if I'm not wrong. And there's this point where Governor Cecilia Mbarire takes to stage and invites the governor for Nyeri County and tries to pronounce the two-term on him, but he didn't do that. He quickly moved away from that two-term analogy and basically just smiled it off and went and sat down. What are the chances that this is not the general depiction of how Kikuyus feel about President William Ruto? Because there had to be a reason for him to act in that manner.
First of all, you need to understand that the political fit of Kahiga is no longer with the people. because he's done his 2 terms as a governor. So he's no longer seeking the popular votes.
Which would have been
So he's
easier
looking-
for him to now sing the
No, you see, no. You see, as a person, their calculations that he's doing as a person. Remember, this is now a man who's going to be unemployed with certainty. He knows that come the 9th of, the Wednesday of August, the second Wednesday of August in 2027, he will not have a job. Most certainly. He will be a job seeker. So he plays very safe. And, there are many considerations that he has. If he had been a guy who can go for the popular vote, he would have automatically been singing 2 term. But then also, I wouldn't want to put the cat out of the bag, to release the cat out of the bag. But politics has also many other considerations, and timing is also one of them. A lot of things could be done now and have different results as if when they would have been done same time next year, And in Kenyan politics, the greatest art that you must have is the art of timing. The art of timing is everything in Kenyan politics. It is such magical that for me, first of all, even if Mutahi did not say 2 term, he was wearing a UDA hat, which he has not worn in a long time, and a scarf. And he was in a UDA meeting.
Would it not be out of?
We have held meetings. We have held meetings here in Kiambu, and the governor decides not to come. Happens. We have held meetings in Nairobi, and the governor doesn't come, and the president is there, and the governor. I mean, there's no duty for you to attend a meeting simply because you're the governor and the president is coming. You have no duty. You could have had other things to do. And as a governor, I don't think a governor of Nyeri would completely lack anything on his schedule, even if he just meant to go and see how a certain tap is doing in one of the constituencies. He would have, if he was not interested, he would have gone somewhere else. So what you say, you talk about optics. For me, what optics I look at is that he was there. He came.
Okay. There's always this saying, I don't know if you buy from the same school of thought, that Kikuyus can't be bought, they can only be rented. Could we say that Ruto's rent is due based on the recent sort of actions we saw Governor Wamatangi's property being attacked on some other place, just right here in Nairobi? That sends a message. We've seen what Governor Kahiga did. That sends a message. We've seen now people also questioning the type of leadership, because we've just recently seen Wamushomba exit that camp and move back again to the UDA, meaning these are people who are toying around with people's feelings. All these sort of actions put together, would you say that his rent is due?
First of all, I don't think the actions or the activities surrounding the demolition of the illegal property or illegal construction on Aerodrome Road have got anything to do with Ruto.
That's the message.
It's
the
not
the message that is portrayed out there.
That's propaganda.
Yeah.
The demolition of that property had been sanctioned by the previous government. And it was only stopped because he had gone to court. First of all, that property does not belong to government. That property belongs to railway. The people involved in that demolition was Kenya Railways and Nairobi City County. And we cannot drag the president in everything. It cannot be that if I decide to go and do whatever it is that I do by the streets, then it's William Ruto because I serve in his government. Then if that is the case, then we can just collapse the constitution and say that we only have one person who is to be held accountable, who is the president, and everybody else should not be asked any question. I mean, you cannot stop the government of Nairobi County from creating law and order. And they do not need to go to William Ruto to ask whether they are going to clean the garbage or not. You cannot ask them whether they're going to pave the ways, the pathways and the walkways for anybody, or whether they're going to create a stage for people who will be coming for AFCON or for whatever match it will be that will be played at the Talanta Stadium. I mean, we have other arms of government that have work to do, and they do not need to be sanctioned by the president. So for the demolition that happened at Aerodrome Road, first of all, it was long overdue. because it was an illegal structure,
Yeah.
well properly documented as an illegal structure, like it has happened. We have the demolition.
We do know the governor is going to send a different narrative when he's actually speaking to his people.
The governor can. I mean,
Yeah.
this is politics. You milk it the way you want to milk it.
Yeah.
You say that you're being targeted by the government.
Yeah.
But the truth is, demolition of property in this country has happened many times, including the demolition of houses that were done by Honorable Raila Odinga in Karen when we were creating the Southern Bypass. You can imagine now the people who, like you, who were not here then, would imagine that Southern Bypass has been... there was a lot of chaos because individuals had built on the road reserve and they had to go. At that time, Raila Odinga may have looked very unpopular as a minister for public works, but he had to do the right thing. I mean, we have had chaos about building of the railways during Uhuru's time at the park. Guys went to court. We have had issues right now as we are currently happening. The Kenha has given instructions that everybody from ABC all the way to the airport to remove every infrastructure and every furniture that is by the roadside. And if they don't do it within 21 days, then they will be removed. So we cannot now say, now, all those people are not, because they're not governors, then they do not matter. But because the governor had whatever it is, some part of furniture on the roadside, then now he's governor, so he can't be touched because he's governor of... No. The law doesn't apply like that. The law applies universally to everyone who is subject to the law, and that means everybody.
All right. Well, we are 1.5 years shy of the 2027 general elections, and of course, there are ongoing deliberations between the IEBC Commission and different stakeholders. Just last week, I believe so, the United Opposition had a sit-down with IEBC and they raised concerns about the company and the vendor company handling our elections, which is Smartmatics. Apparently, there's an alleged sort of illegal renewal of their contract that was raised by the United Opposition. As a representative of the people, how do you feel about going into the next general election with a company that has so many cases that taints its integrity?
First of all, unlike matters politics, matters law are very, very empirical. They're very easy to predetermine. They're very easy to forecast because the law is done prior to those actions happening. I mean, the law that will be applied in determining that case is very easy. It will not be done. The law will not be crafted when there's a problem with that company or when you go to court. The law exists. So it's easy to give an outcome. I can sit here and tell you the outcome should be ABCD. Not unless we have, if these are the facts, And that's why the court will only sit and look at the facts and now get them against the law. So that's a very easy thing. Whatever it is that people want to, anybody who has a problem with the companies or vendors who are involved in supply of anything in the election, they will just say they have a problem with this, they raise the concerns, another company will come. But you see, those are excuses.
Why do you say so?
Because when they're planning to go to court if they have not gone to court.
They raised that concern,
And there's no point of raising such concerns. If it were me, if I had concerns, I would not even raise it. I would not even come to the media. I would go to court. That's where it belongs, so that you get a judgment. And you get determination of the courts, so that you get the right company to come or the right vendor. And you see the problem with raising such things and wanting to use them to milk for political expedience is because they are temporary. So what will happen if the person that they thought should come, if the company they think is proper comes? So what will happen? What will they say now?
It's a fresh company.
They should be involved in wooing voters, so that at least once you have voters, then you say, now I have the voters. The only thing I don't have is this process. I want to make sure that this process is clean.
They do have their followers, but it's literally preparing to lose.
Let me give you an example.
Gabriel, you can't go to an election.
Let me give you an example.
Knowing very well the referee is compromised, it would be strategy that doesn't make sense.
Let me give you an example. I honestly feel that the referee in the last election
Yeah.
was compromised against me. Personally, I'm telling you my personal experience
Okay.
in Gatundu South. And I knew that there would be a problem in announcing me as a winner.
Yeah.
That did not stop me from going for the elections. I went for the elections and made sure I won. Then I came to the tallying station and I brought my people and told them, now listen, we want everything put on the table and broadcast there.
Yeah.
So for everyone to see. And even the returning officer was given instructions to get away and say that we come and continue with this process tomorrow. I told him, no, you can't. You cannot leave this room. You will only leave this room when you have determined the winner and given them the certificate. And we sat there for about 72 hours. And we followed him to the toilet, everything. Because now we knew, so now I knew the only work I was left with is guarding my votes because I had them.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have votes, what was I there to do? To guard my win, my lose. To guard and say that, okay, now I am sad. Okay, I have lost by a margin of... It's nonsense.
Yeah.
First go and get the votes, then we come and determine. These are the issue. That I'm saying that it is okay. You these things go concurrently. It is good to have comfort that the umpire that we have is fair.
It's fair. Yeah.
It's good to do that. Those are issues that we raise, and it's okay to raise that. But Owen, to you, when you say that we want ABCD and they are given that job, what are you left saying now?
They move into the election more comfortable and they can focus on other things.
It's all right. They'll move into the elections.
Yeah.
And the people who vote. And by the way, let me tell you something else. I saw it in the last elections, and I can tell you even the previous regime found in a very distasteful manner that in the current constitutional dispensation is very difficult to rig an election. Allan is difficult. You know, this country has we like shenanigans and we like street talk and bar talk, and bar talk nearly runs our politics. It is very difficult to rig an election in this country.
True.
And if you want to know, of all the, I think 217 cases that went to courts for determination as election petitions, not even 2% of those cases made. Because the facts that they brought when the courts looked at them, and not unless you're saying that you do not have trust even in our judiciary, they determined those cases and told those guys, 98% of those cases were dismissed. I think in Parliament, the only case that made in Parliament out of the 217 was only the case for Magarini. There wasn't any other case that made through. Yet almost 3/4 of the seats were petitioned. Why? Because after the Minor Kiai case, it became very difficult to compromise an electoral process. Because the election ends in that room of a maximum of 700 voters. So, for you to rig elections, you would have to show a process that I was voted by 700 people there and there and there and there and there until they made these votes.
So it therefore means for the less than 2% of the cases that held some weight, even case in point in the one that you're talking about, the Magarini case, then it means there's that window for
that was human.
elections.
It was error.
Manipulate.
It was error. Not to manipulate. I mean everything, boss.
So there's room. What I'm trying to say is there's room.
I'm saying there's nothing in this world, including religion. What time did Jesus die?
I don't know.
Yes, you don't know. Nobody is certain. There's no certainties. I mean, that is, you're a Christian, you should have known the exact time. All of us should have the exact time that we know. Nobody knows. It's not known. So it's the same thing. Mistakes happen. I mean, errors occur, accidents happen, cars get into accidents, things happen. People come and they cannot write properly, mistakes occur. But I'm saying 1 out of 290. I mean, really, you have to give, by any standard, that is a well-done election. And that is notwithstanding the fact that I'm saying that we knew there are people who would have wanted to compromise the election, but it was very difficult to compromise that system as is.
Okay, well, this is not the first time the president is being sort of mentioned and tied to names that are not necessarily good names per se, according to societal standards, based on what they've been accused of. And just yesterday, we saw the former AG, that is Justin Muturi, take a swipe at the president on a recent visit that was done by a business person. And I want to make reference to what he said. He said, this man is a convicted fraudster, kwa mambo ya kusupply electoral materials in South Africa, in Namibia, referring to Zimbabwe. Oh Lord, that's a very difficult name. The man from Zimbabwe, he's called Wicknell Chivayo. When you look at this man and those allegations that are tied to his name and the access that he has to the president, does it raise any questions?
You see, for me, any message is as good as a messenger. I do not think I would dignify anything said by Justin Muturi. And
Why so?
And I'll leave it at that.
I mean, he was the AG, he
Allan,
served as the speaker.
Allan, I will not dignify anything coming from Muturi's mouth by any response.
So you leave it at that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to what he's tied to, or like the company, Smartmatics, that we were talking about, because you're talking about the elections. We're looking at these countries. Namibia, the opposition has raised concerns about the company. We've seen cases in other countries. In South Africa, there are ongoing cases about this company. What are the chances that all these are just rumors and this company shouldn't be given the responsibility to handle the elections?
Have you forgotten Kamago?
Another name that was tied to
Have you forgotten
the president.
Have you forgotten the Russian influence in the US elections of the last elections?
Yeah.
Before
the re-election?
Before the current one. When Trump lost.
Exactly, tied to the same company.
So I mean, and those are just a few. I mean, there's been a story in France. There's been stories in Italy. There's been stories in every other place where there are democratic elections.
Yeah.
So for me, instead of, you see, not unless we say that there will be no election materials supplied from outside the country, we shall supply them. And then we give the opposition to supply because they are clean. We say now they are clean. So this thing we're going to give the company. We asked Matiang'i and Kalonzo and Eunice Wamalwa and what is his name? The other gentleman guys. Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
You tell them, from a company, we shall give you the work to supply. That is the only time they will be quiet. Any other person brought by any other process will not be acceptable to them. Because they're not playing that game. If you look at these guys, they're not here to win the election. They know they can't win. Everybody knows, all those people in the disunited opposition know that they cannot win the election. So they're here for the nuisance value. And the nuisance value is discredit everything. You know, I was looking at a meme of a guy being taken to jail, and he has his advocate, and he's told by the prosecutor, please please take a seat, so that he's questioned. You know how it happens in America. So you sit over there, and then the people questioning you are here. Then the lawyer whispers to him and says, deny everything. And he starts by saying, when he's told to sit, he says, this is not a seat. you know, that's the nuisance value that these guys are going to.
Yeah.
They will even say that the election date, and you have had attempts to say that, and you remember last year there was a guy who really pursued, it's called? Willis Otieno.
Yeah.
Pursued a line that the election should not be held on the date that everybody thinks they should be held. And they will take that and say, now, forget the process. There should not even be election here. You have even had people saying that William Ruto plans on moving the elections and saying, I don't know, there will be chaos, I don't know, invoking what part of the constitution to move the elections. I mean, they will say anything and everything. But I will tell you this, Allan. As a person who's participated in many elections, my advice to them would be, you guys, just go and do what is done by other politicians. Go and woo voters. That is where the rubber meets the road, and that is where you will get votes. Oh, these are noise. is Nikelele too.
Fine. Let's bring this back home now to the UDA party. A majority of those who won the elective seats put in a lot of effort when it comes to the general elections in 2022. Everybody invested time, effort in ensuring that UDA clinches victory. But fast forward in between that period leading up to now, we see ODM through Raila Odinga come into this broad-based arrangement, and some seats are reassigned. People are given different positions. And just, I believe about 2 weeks ago, UDA held the governing council meeting at State House, and Danson Mungatana raised a point which probably is being spoken about with UDA leaders in low tones and not being expressed to the president, that ever since we joined this into this coalition, we feel that we are not being really taken care of as the children of the house. Like, good positions are going to the other side. Moving into 2027, this is literally going to be the core basis of William Ruto's re-election, working with ODM, and probably they'll get even more better seats. Where does this leave you as UDA loyals? Do you feel this is going to be a good arrangement post 2027?
You know, I'll tell you, I did not create the party called UDA. I wasn't involved in the creation of that party.
Yeah.
But I'm a beneficiary of that party. And I came and found a party that had been done. I joined it. I subscribed. I registered as a member. And I vied through that party, despite the fact that it was formed by other people. This country that we came and vied in, this parliament that we go and submit issues and represent, was not built by us. So our country is a going concern. Our party is a going concern. Our government is a going concern. You know? In the by-elections that happened because people died, nobody comes and asks you, what have you done for the party? Because now the former member who was here has died. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, we must ask ourselves critical questions. And I know that William, personally, and I say this because it is when the government in 2024 was very unpopular, because there was a lot of issues that were happening, especially in the mountain. When Gachagua exited, just like I told you, there was a lot of uncertainty. People didn't know. When someone says, now, this is just the beginning. William Ruto wants to finish the Kikuyus and the mountain. Now he started with the biggest person, and now he's going to finish everyone. Even those members of parliament are going to, he's coming for them, he's coming for everyone. There was a lot of uncertainty for some time. I was left, and we stood with the government, with all the members of parliament who are sitting, UDA members in Kiambu.
Yeah.
We sat except one or two. And we took time to go and explain to the people, listen, no, it's a lie and everything. And it's very difficult. It's very easy to sell the easier lie and just go and lie to the people and say, oh, the government is bad. There's no accountability. You enjoy the power of the harlot, the prerogative of the harlot, power without any responsibility. You can just go and say, oh, this government is bad. That's what happens. But we took the work. We put in the difficult work of telling people, wait, there's a plan. Now that the plan is coming to fruition, after a long duration of planning and everything, now people can see, oh, roads are now coming. Oh, waterworks are now being done. Oh, schools are being done. Okay, dams are being, those things. Now they can see the outcome of, the government, because it takes time to do those things. It will feel very bad when someone had gone away and and tainted the name of the government and ruined us through mud and dragged us through mud, saying that we the people who are with Kasongo and we are traitors, we are people who do not care about the community and society and all those things. That's what they said in
what they were.
That's what they were saying in 2024 and some part of 2025. These people who've just come back.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember Koimbori saying that we were paid to impeach Gachagua.
Yeah.
You remember Mushamba saying all those bad things that she did.
Yeah.
Now they're back. So you can ask yourself the same question. So what happens to the people who stood with the government and went and made it possible for now them to come back to see? They have come back to UDA.
Yeah.
They have come back to UDA because UDA now is a party that is palatable with the people of the mountain. There are people who did that. Who is us? And there's a cost to it.
Those two people you've mentioned came back to UDA because there were disagreements in DCP. They couldn't get their way. Let's go on this other
They
side.
could have gone to ODM. They could have gone to be independent.
Come on.
The member for
They can go to ODM.
the member for Gatondo South is for Gatondo North is elected on an independent ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. If they think, if you're saying that DCP is not good, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, what they're saying is that it's not a good party. Whether it's bad because they could not get their way, whatever it is, they do not agree with it. So they're out of it. So you're telling me that they disagreed with this party and came to another bad party? Only a fool would do that. Not unless you're calling them that.
Okay. We're looking at these elective seats. You are in a retreat, and I believe this ended last week on Friday, if I'm not wrong. And the speaker mentioned something. I don't know if it was during the retreat or probably after or before, but he said, give or take, about 56% of parliamentarians are not going to make it back to the 14th parliament. Do you come from the same school of thought?
I wouldn't know where he got such data. Maybe if it's history. Because I'm not privy to any scientific
Data.
any scientific data that alludes to that.
Yeah.
So I would not certainly say that. First of all, it's usual for there to be a turnover in elections. It happens. I mean, the people who came back to the 13th parliament were very few compared to the ones who didn't make it back. And it happens. It has happened many times. I mean, people lose elections and others win. Others lose, stay out for 5 years and come back and so forth and so,
But this is 56%. It's a very high percentage.
No. The previous one was in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, this 13th parliament, 56 is an improvement.
But that
from the previous one.
But that was because of the type of election we had in 2022.
There was only one election.
Yeah, that was the type of election we had in 2022 because of the nature of that politics. Yeah.
The type and the nature of elections in 2022 is the election that has been done ever since we changed the constitution as a general election. So there was no difference. It's always like that. Okay, I'll tell you, Allan, with a lot of humility and respect. If you had been here long enough from 1992, actively participating in it, you would not see anything different. Elections are like that. And every election is unique in its own small way. But the nature is the same.
I ask this, again, very humbly and respectfully. When you listen to Fred Matiang'i, he could be saying it from a point of political expediency, but let's put that aside, just based on the time that he served as an interior minister, just after he served as the education CS. He said in his tenure as a technocrat, the 13th parliament, this parliament that you're serving in, is probably by far one of the worst and incompetent sort of parliaments that we're looking at based on the type of representatives the people have allowed to get into parliament. Would that be what is informing the 56% that the speaker is speaking about? Is it the quality of leadership has deteriorated in the House?
The only advice I would take from Matiang'i is that of a classroom. A lecture on whatever topics. What does he teach in? What does he a lecture in? Nobody knows. He's not succeeded in anything. He's not known for anything. He cannot advise me about anything to do with governance and anything to do with elections. He's never been elected even to a cattle dip.
He was the interior CS and
he was not elected. I've said. I have just told you this, and I want you to dispute that with facts.
Yes.
That Matiang'i has never been elected to any position that we know, any public office, even a cattle dip chair.
Yeah.
So he can't advise us about elections. And in any case, if the quality of parliament is wanting, he shouldn't come to parliament. Let him go to the people and tell them about the quality of people that they elected in 2022. And it is not us who elected ourselves. It was the Mwananchi. So who is defaulting? Kwani, this parliament was not created by parliamentarians. Parliament is created by Kenyans. Kenyans are the ones who went and voted for those people that they did. and he wasn't part of it. Let him first try a seat and see if he can be elected. Who is he speaking on behalf of? On whose behalf is he speaking? Parliament was constituted by Kenyans.
Yeah.
15 million of them. They went and said, this is how we want to constitute parliament. The majority. So he's telling the majority are mad. What is he saying? You know, some of these things, when some of these sentiments are made, you ask yourself, what is that person saying? Because you see, when he talks about quality of parliament, he's talking about the people and their capacity and their willingness to work, their capacity and their all those things. Yet those people were put there by the voters. So what does he say? So who is he faulting? You realize, but he's not actually faulting parliament. He's faulting the voters. The same ones he wants to go and tell now, give us votes. I mean, only a fool does such things. That's shooting yourself in the foot.
Okay, let's still on this leadership that we're talking about, because when you look at a headline here on the Sunday Standard, it says dishonorable waste, and I don't want to necessarily read the whole of it, but maybe I could quickly skim through it. As Kenyans tighten their belts under punishing taxes, ballooning debt, and a harsh cost of living crisis, the elected leaders retreated to Lake Naivasha for a 5-day show of comfort and excesses. Sirens cleared roads, 5-course meals were served, and luxury cars filled hotel car parks, sparking public fury. Critics say the optics exposed a parliament concerned or conned in privilege, spending tens of millions while citizens struggle, deepening doubts about accountability. Gabriel, you're a representative of the people, and when you look at the gentleman that you mentioned just a while ago, Willis Otieno, the deputy party leader for Safina Party, he also tweeted and said, these are just parasites in suits. When you look at what you had for a 5-day retreat in Naivasha, what was the value of that meeting?
Relating
it to this post, because they've called it a dishonorable waste.
Yeah. It is very easy for the people you've mentioned to say that, because I told you again, and I keep saying that those are people who enjoy power without responsibility, because they can tweet, right? So they can say. And tweeting, people, you can tweet from under your bed, you can tweet from the toilet, you can tweet from, anywhere and say anything, because that is where we find ourselves in, that is where our laws find us in terms of, communication. So anybody can say anything and there will be no repercussions, there will be no consequences. But I want you to tell me whether this parliament and its working is sanctioned by the constitution or not.
Yeah.
Because if you come to parliament, the truth is that the parliament car park has cars. But the cars are only a maximum of 349.
Yeah.
But this Nairobi, those cars are not the ones that create traffic. So first of all, it's not a crime to have a car.
Yeah.
And I don't think the members of parliament are the ones who drive the biggest cars in Kenya. So it's not a crime to drive a car.
Yeah.
Parliament did not pay. Look at this. The fuel that I used, there wasn't any unique pay.
Yeah.
You weren't given fuel to go to Naivasha.
Okay.
So you come to Naivasha. A member of parliament, a member of parliament
from your own
has
pocket?
a salary.
Yeah.
And one of the things that salary does is to fuel his car.
Yes.
Just like anybody.
Yeah.
Just like teachers, just like anybody else who earns a salary from the government. So if you're told, today I am here, so I have driven.
Yeah.
It's true, I didn't walk. I've driven here. So why don't we now go to the car park and now start describing the waste that I have now come here in a car?
I think
that's nonsense.
I think what they're
please,
talking about
Allan, please excuse me.
Yeah.
I ascribe to, average minds.
Yeah.
Discuss events.
Okay.
Small minds discuss people.
Great minds
discuss ideas.
Yeah.
I would want us to, I've known you for some time. I would
Yeah.
want us to remain where we belong. Don't be swayed by small minds here to discuss very small things. Let's discuss issues that would be of help. I would want, and I keep saying this, I would want any person who happens to watch this podcast, a young man who's getting done with his Form 4, to listen to something that would influence in life, someone who does not even have an intention of joining politics. To get something that he can get from this podcast. We stop this idea of all of you people in the media want to pull us to the nonsense of the lowest person in society. When the lowest person in society says something, when Boniface Mwangi, a guy who has no iota of direction, says something, then everybody, you go to whatever media house, they want you to discuss that thing that was said by a stupid guy.
I mean, we can't necessarily.
So what I would want us to do personally, I would want to engage in discussions that are of value, because you see what we are doing here, what we've been doing, and I don't know why nobody has had the guts to call out the media and even give direction to what is consumed as news, so that we start consuming news that go to TikTok. And forgive me, I don't know how this will come out. But go to TikTok, go to Kenyan TikTok, and see the content. And then go to Chinese TikTok.
The algorithm is different.
Look at the content. You see, you've heard even China saying that we will not even allow you to talk about medicine if you're not qualified. Do not tweet about some of these things. Do not do a TikTok video if you're not an expert in that area. Don't. And we will look at it. Don't give legal advice if you're not a lawyer. Don't give medical advice if you're not a medic. Don't give advice on engineering if you're not an engineer. So the problem we have had, the biggest problem, is that, one day a leader in India said that the problem with India at that time is called, I think it's called Guru. That there's a gentleman who gives, I don't remember his name. And he said, the problem with India is that when you go to the roadside and meet the man who makes tea by the shanty there, he has a lot of ideas to advise the president and the prime minister of India. He wants to tell you about how to run a country and all those things. And while he's doing that, when he's preparing tea, when he brings you tea to the table, you realize the fella doesn't even know how to make a good cup of tea. Even what he's supposed to be good at, he's not good at that, but he wants to be good at something else. So when we listen to, you said there's a guy who tweeted, what did you call him?
Oh, Willis.
Willis who?
Willis Otieno.
Who is that?
He's an advocate and the deputy party leader for Safina Party.
What party is that? Safina must be a two. How many people are allowed to form a party?
Must
be like 3.
It's been there for a while.
Safina is the one that was formed by Honorable Muite.
Yes.
That never. How many people how many people does it have in parliament?
You see,
no, I'm just asking. It's for information. Sorry, excuse my ignorance. How many people do they have in parliament?
None.
Any MCA?
Not too sure about that.
So a guy is saying that he's a Secretary General of what?
I mean, here's the thing, Gabriel.
No. You see, no. Yeah. Tell me about a tweet by a Kenyan called Willis. Don't try to decorate him as things that do not make sense. I mean, what is that thing you're trying to say? You're trying to make what he said look like. You see what you're doing? You're qualifying his statement by making him look important because he has this big name he's given himself called Secretary General of a party. A party I can tell you. First of all, no. He's not a leader. He's not a leader.
Okay, let's put it like
he's not a leader.
He's a Kenyan.
Yes, he's a Kenyan. Now let's discuss that. Let's discuss the Kenyan.
Okay, fine. The Kenyan. As I was saying,
that Kenyan is entitled to his opinion.
Yes.
And that Kenyan may suffer a lot from this misled idea that he's big because he has a title he carries along with him. I don't know what he does with it. But there's no difference between his opinion and the opinion of any other person. So let's just treat it as an opinion of a Kenyan.
Yes, that's how we're treating it.
And you see, now, if a Kenyan feels that there was that what he calls waste, because people then it means, so what would have happened if the same messaging happened in Parliament? So what he's trying to say is that there's waste in Parliament every day that Parliament convenes, because he's talking about cars.
I think
Cars are driven.
I think the point that was being driven by such a post, and of course, media outlets out here sensationalize sort of headlines, of course, to tap into emotions.
Thank you very much.
That
very
is
much.
it. But then again, the headlines speak to a truth that people don't necessarily want to talk about. And when your constituents, say for example in Gatundu South, see you convening with your colleagues somewhere in Naivasha for 5 days, and you find people are coming out to say that this is a waste, this is excesses. The question people would ask, these meetings, they can't be done somewhere else? Do you have to go to a hotel for all these periods? And people in the back of their mind have this perception or believe that it's paid for by their taxes. So that is why you have the duty to explain to them that this is not the case.
Two things. One, I like that you've accepted, and that coming from you is really genuine. That we have journalists who want sensationalism.
In some cases it doesn't.
And especially the newspapers. And let me tell you, you probably don't know, but I've been in a newsroom for about 15 years.
Yeah.
In newsrooms. So I know what happens inside those big newsrooms. I've been to all of them. I worked at Nation. I've been on that floor. I've worked at Royal Media. I've been there. Yeah. So I know what happens in those newsrooms. So first of all, do not think, it is not true that there is something that is being addressed per se. And a lot of times those decisions are made by very, very prejudiced people. I was there in 2007 when Oliver Madenge was literally beaten. Beating because of a headline. Because some people within the media house did not want that headline. So for me, there's a lot of prejudice in headlines. So that I would leave that alone. But number two, just remember, we had a lot of damage happened to Parliament during the maandamano that happened the other time. Yeah. And because of the scarcity of finances and everything, the renovation had to take some time. And I went to Parliament, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and I found there was renovation. In fact, it's inhabitable. It's a construction site. Yeah. And I said, okay, there was a lot of things happening, and I would imagine that is why the meeting did not happen in Parliament. Okay. And I'm saying I would imagine that. Yeah. And let me tell you something else, Allan. I don't know why people would feel like, personally, I came to Nairobi every day because I would prefer to operate from home. There isn't, now Naivasha, going to Naivasha to, there's no, it's neither here nor there. Yeah. In any case, I wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to spend with my family. When I'm just saying Naivasha, I would prefer to come home. So there isn't anything that I would be fighting for. Oh, now we want to go to Naivasha. You know, I know people do those things, but personally, I. So yeah, people do those things. So there is some truth to it. Not just in Parliament. Yes, but I'm saying generally. I have worked. Yes. I have been. I'm no stranger. Yes. I'm no stranger to Kenya. Yeah. I have worked even in private companies. Yes. So I have seen people scramble for trips and all those things. Ask. Okay. Even in other places where I represent. I mean, I have not made external trips on Parliament or in KTDA. I think I've only done like 2 or 3 trips, which were absolutely necessary. Okay. Today, as we're speaking, I'm supposed to be in Dubai. Yeah. I can show you my tickets that I've declined and said, no, I don't want to travel. I want to stay here. Yeah. So, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I mean, you travel when it's necessary, and there isn't benefit to it as people would want to put it out there. All right. So, Gabriel, as we're winding down, of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Just
before, I'd say today in the morning, you were quite safe. I don't know if you're still safe. Initially, Moses Kuria had declared that he wanted to vie for the Nairobi gubernatorial seat, but he's made an official declaration that he wants to come back and vie for his old seat, which is where you are serving currently as the member of parliament. I don't know how you feel about this.
First of all, I don't think Moses Kuria wants to vie in Gatundu South because he has... I've seen everything moving along in social media. Mara, he's vying in Kamukunji. Again, he's vying in Kiambu as a governor.
Yeah.
Mara, he's vying... I've seen, I think, about 6 different posters. So I don't even know which one is which.
Yeah.
He's vying on a DCP ticket. He's vying on a CCK ticket. He's vying on, I don't know what other ticket. And anyway, you may want to know that I was Moses Kuria's PA for a long time.
Yeah.
Unajua, shida ya huyu Moses Kuria, ako tu na uchungu na mimi. Kwa sababu, mimi tulikana naye hapo, na ni kweli nilikuwa mti yake ya mkono. Nimembebea mkono, nimekuwa mti yake ya mkono tangu 2007, miaka mingi, about almost 20 years now. Na mimi nikamwambia, hata wakati alikuwa minister nikamwambia sasa hapa hii serikali tutajipanga, ujipange hapa, upange mzuri. Yeye akatoa kelele kidogo akikaa hapo, mara amekula anataka kukula mahindi. Sijui skari, sijui mchele, sijui mafuta ya kupika. Akatolewa hapo, sijui KNTC, akatolewa trade. Sijui ametengeneza vitu vingine, so ukora yake tu imemfukuza kwa serikali. Ametoka huko, amepelekwa huko interior. Scandal after scandal. Watu hawasikizane na yeye. Rais bado anamsamea, anamwambia wewe basi kuja State House. Mahali hakuna watu wengi watapiga kelele kusema ati unafanya ABCD. State House yenyewe mwenyewe ameandika barua, amesema amechoka. Kidogo ameenda wa Munyoro. Wako na Rigadi. Kidogo wako na Martha Karua. Kidogo ndio huyo ati tena amerudi kwa chama ya UDA. Sasa yule is someone you cannot trust. Ni mtu mwenye hata ukiangalia kidogo unashindwa, actually unashindwa kama kichwa yake iko dhabiti. You wonder whether he is of sane mind. When you look at his tweets, na mimi najua wewe umekuwa ukiangalia tweets zake. You look at these tweets, you wonder at times, and I have seen people have called me to ask, is that really Moses Kuria writing that? Because he said something that you do not expect of a right-thinking member of society. In front of the members of society, the people who are supposed to be voting, they look at this guy and ask, do you think this comes from him? So I would not be surprised to know that it's probably not even him who has probably it's even a lie.
Yeah.
So, because, first of all, Moses Kuria will be a very good candidate to go against. I mean, I've been his PA. I know his weaknesses, all of them.
So
I know his non-existent strength. He has no strength.
So does he know about you?
He doesn't know about me. We were not discussing me. You see, when you have a PA has his own life.
Yeah.
So, and a PA works on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he knows you and you don't know them.
Yeah.
So you know why he's able to fix, why he can't fix. And I don't think Moses can achieve anything without me. The day I left him, wakati nilimwachilia, ndo kuanguka tu alianguka. After being with him all this time, being his PA, kupanga maneno yake, kupanga hata maneno ya transport yake, nini kupanga, atatoka haji nyumbani, ataenda wapi, akilewa, ni mtu ya kulewa analala, unashindwa sasa ni lazima upange vile atabebwa, ingizwa kwa gari apelekwe nyumbani. The day I said, okay, now I have another job to do, sasa wewe fanya hiyo, you saw. Akajaribu kiti ya Kiambu, hakuna kusucceed. Akapata, I think, 13,000 votes out of 1.3, not even 1% of the votes. Almost 1.4 million votes. Akipewa kiti, yenye ni kumutetea tu kwa rais, apate mahali ya kujishikilia, same thing, amekojolea. The same thing anafanya kwa kitanda. Sasa unashangaa sasa, what do you do with such a fella? Sasa kufikiria anaweza kukuja kubishana na mimi. Ask anybody in Gatundu, they know. I made him the member of parliament in 2014. Ask him what happened in Ituro, he knows.
So he's not a competition at all.
Moses Kuria is the least threat in Gatundu South. In fact, he would be a better candidate than the others. He's a better candidate to run against.
I think he's had that. Of course, this will reach him. And he'll do a rebuttal on the same. Gabriel, I don't know if you have any final words, but that's just about it for this episode.
As usual, what I would say, and I would want to make an appeal to the people of Kenya, that when all is said and done, we will be left with only one Kenya. And I've been consistent on this. We have only one Kenya. We must take care of it. And leaders are transient. Leadership positions are transient. And I would ask people not to be worried about, we have formed a habit of pointing fingers at the person who's at the helm. For how long shall we do that? We were pointing fingers at Uhuru just the other day. He was a problem. William was not a problem. Before then, it was Kibaki when he introduced ETRs and everything, and we had a lot of noise. People forget easily, though, that we had a lot of noise to an extent that we did not even elect Kibaki to a second term. You know what happened in 2007. You cannot keep hiding. It's true. There was chaos because votes went a certain way. I mean, even the man who was announcing elections said he didn't know who won.
Even Moses Kuria said the elections were rigged.
So, and he would know that because he was at KS. I was also there.
Yeah.
And Mother Karua was there, and many people were there. and before then, it was Moi who was a problem. And I think before Moi came into power, we had not really even before then, when even Jomo was a problem.
Yeah,
that's why it was only that probably the masses and the people we did not have proper information dispensation the way we do now.
Yeah,
but I can tell, even if you see, let me just say this: William Ruto will finish his term, and at some point, 2033, William Ruto will not be president of Kenya. But Kenya will remain. Mm-hmm. At the 2033, William Ruto will not be president. Mm-hmm. But Kenya will still be. So we must be cautious about how we treat our country because we have been told by people that the problem is one individual. Mm-hmm. All these people have come and gone. I mean, in my few years, I have seen President Moi, he has gone. I've seen President Kibaki, he has gone. Yeah. I've seen President Uhuru, he has gone. I've seen President William Ruto, he will also go. But the problem is, what shall be left of our country? What shall be left of our culture? Yeah. What shall be left of our diligence in business and how we run this country? I mean, what I would want every Kenyan to ask themselves is, what would they do if they were given the opportunity to be the president of Kenya?
All right. We'll leave it at that. Punchline right there. Raw and unfiltered. Just right here on the Upfront podcast. That's the main reason we built this platform, so that we could have raw and authentic sort of conversations. We've just been touching on a few key areas, and we'll leave it at that for this episode. Keep on subscribing, keep on engaging us on our platforms on Upfront across all media platforms. I'll be seeing you when you see me. Do have yourselves a lovely one.